Okay, welcome back. We are in the second part of the tables video. Okay, I was trying to show you the attributes for the table. There are several attributes that you need to know. For example, we have table border. You can define table border. Okay, T small. TABLEBORDER border is equal to 1. Okay, what does that do? It sets amount of space between table cells. Okay, that's it sets the width of the border around the table cells. Well, how broad the table border is. Okay, for example, this is the table border. Okay, this guy here, just this edge, this tiny edge. Okay, this is the entire table border. Okay, are you with me? So that's the table border. Okay, we have a table border going on here. Then we have, this is called, it sets the table border. Okay, and another attribute that I have here is, it's called table cell spacing. Okay, what this does is, it will set the amount of space between a cell's border and its contents. Okay, so can you appreciate the amount of control you're going to have when you design tables? So if it's 1, then this is the space between the border and the area where the content is going to be located. Okay, which is this guy here. So we have a cell border, and we have the space, this tiny space between the border and the cell is called cell spacing. Okay, if you don't define it explicitly, this is the default way the table is created in HTML. Okay, I will show you how you can explicitly define these attributes. Then we have okay, this sets the amount of space between table cells. Okay, then we have table cell padding. Okay, is equal to 1 is setting space between the table and the border, between the content and the border. Okay, all right, I think I mixed up these two. Cell spacing is sets the amount of space between the table cells. Okay, the space between the table cells, cell spacing. Okay, and cell padding is this guy, border and cell, the space between border and cell. Okay, and I got that mixed up, I'm sorry about that. So this definition is right here, it's very clear, no need for any kind of confusion. So this is right here, cell spacing and cell padding. And then we have table width that we just defined here. It sets the width of the table in pixels, okay, or as percentage of document width, depends how you identify it. If you say 100%, or you could say 100. Okay, 100 would be pixels. If you do it like this, 100 would be pixels, and if you add percentage, that would be setting up the width in percentage. Okay, then you have another attribute called tr align, for the row tag align. Okay, and align is equal to left. This is similar to what you use in the Word document. Okay, and what this does is, it aligns, or tr align is equal to left, or td align is equal to left. You could add the align attribute to tr or td in the same fashion. Okay, is equal to left. What it would do is, it sets the alignment for cells left, center, or right, depending on how you set it. You could set it up as left, center, or right. Okay, and then we have vertical alignment as well, trv align. Okay, and we'll try to play with the code and add all of these bit by bit. Okay, top. What does this mean? check this out here. The first the exercise that I showed you here, if I do this label here, Asha's duty, the vertical alignment for this is set as centered. Okay, if it was top, and if the row span would be broad enough to allow for that code to implement itself, it has to be very broad. This label Asha's duty would go all the way to the top of the cell. The rest of the cell would be empty. You could have top, center, or bottom. Okay, top, middle, not center, middle or bottom sets the vertical alignment. It sets the vertical alignment. Okay, which could be top, middle, or bottom. Okay, if you have a Word document, you can copy this code, so for your future reference, especially when you're working on the exercise, the chapter exercise for the e-portfolio, you can easily do that. Okay, then we have the TD call span, row span. I'm going to cover that in the next video. Okay, the call span and the row span. Okay, and I'm not going to cover that here right now, because an entire video is going to be devoted for these two, and I'm going to explain what row span and call span is. Okay, and apart from that, you can do a TD column span, a TD row span, and that too would be left for the next video.